Amen. Amen. Magandang hapon mula sa Panginoon. Panginoon sa inyo lahat. God is good. God is good. All the time. Amen. Salamat tayo sa naman ay 34th year anniversary ng FECC. Alam mo ba, Carlo? Mas matanda ng FECC na dalawang to. Amen. Anniversary po natin ngayon. Nagpapasalamat tayo sa Panginoon dahil 32 years na exist ang FECC dito sa UAE. Hindi ko lang kung sino dito ang dumating yung first year ng FECC. But we thank God that ang FECC nag-survive ng 32 years and more. Alright? So yun na lang natin ito ngayon. Nakasama ko. Kahit yun na namin. Panginoon, magandang magandang hapon na pati namin sa iyo. Maraming salamat, Panginoon. Lord, it's our anniversary. It's your church and it's your Panginoon. 34 years, Panginoon, nagparang na kami, Panginoon. 34 years na inalagaan mo kami. 34 years na ginabayan mo kami. 34 years na ikaw ang nagtagumpay. And Lord, we thank you for everything. Na napakabuti mo, Panginoon, sa aming church. And Lord, salamat kami na ginagamit mo itong church, Panginoon, as a channel of blessing, Panginoon, sa bawat isa. And sa mga kaluluwa, Panginoon, na napupunta rin, we praise you, O Lord, because we believe that you can do anything, Panginoon. And Lord, this afternoon, we praise you, and iningatan mo kami, Panginoon, makarating dito ng malabalhati. We thank you, Lord, na ikaw nagpala muli sa bawat isa for the past week, Panginoon. Thank you, Lord, sa blessing, sa pag-iingat, sa aming pagdadrive, sa pagsaya, habang kami wala sa aming bahay, Lord. Thank you na iningatan mo kami, Panginoon. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord, for the blessings, for the new life, Panginoon, na pinagkatiwala mo sa amin, Lord. Maraming salamat, Panginoon. And Lord, this afternoon, this day, Lord, we will dedicate this to you, Lord, this time of worship, Lord. We will dedicate this to you, Lord, to worship you, Lord. Dahil alam po namin you deserve, Lord. And Lord, maraming salamat sa aming attendance, Panginoon, sa aming mga bisita. Lord, thank you dahil alam po namin sinadya mo sila rito with a purpose, Panginoon. Kaya maraming salamat. Manawa ang tagumpay sa harapan ito. We give you back all the glory and the praises and adoration. In Jesus' name, amen. May palakpakan natin ang Panginoon. Amen. As we sing the Thank You, Lord song, I would like to encourage all of us to turn around. And then shake the hands of our singing, and our visita, and then let us all welcome them. Amen? Alright, come on, church, everybody now. I will be for you today. Let us shake our hands. It's something that I want to say. Thank you, Lord. to follow you. Hallelujah.
Thank you. Ay, nakasaksak yun. Nakasaksak yun.
Ay, ito pa. Ah, meron po yan.
Meron? Tumuto naman. Hindi na ako lang.
Praise the Lord. A blessed good afternoon to everyone. We are really excited and happy that this afternoon the Lord has given us the opportunity to be able to celebrate our anniversary. But before that, there's two things that I'd like for us to do right now. Can we just recognize all our visitors? Can you stand wherever you are if you're a visitor or first time here? Maybe if you want to Mayo, you are first time visitors. Okay, can you stand? My friend there. Can you stand? Praise the Lord. You're welcome. And of course, para sa ating mga FECC family, pwede bang tumayo lahat ng taga-FECC? Pwede ko ba tumayo lahat? Sige na po. Praise the Lord.
Tayo lang po ako.
Praise God. Pakisabi sa katabi mo, sa kanya, happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary.
Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord. At pakisabi na rin sa kanya, tumanda ka na naman. Alright? We're really happy that this day is our 24th anniversary and we're excited basically because of our visitors, the very important person in our midst right now. It's our joy to celebrate our anniversary, but we're happy and it's really a privilege to have you here in our midst. So, and talking about our anniversary, alam niyo po, it's always exciting our best anniversary.
Sino po mag-read?
So remember the guy,
After ng welcome and announcement.
to celebrating the silver anniversary of their marriage, and to be met by his friend, and to know that they were really rejoicing, celebrating. And so this guy, the friend, asked, "It's your anniversary, it's silver. So it's a big celebration. So what are you planning to give to your wife?"
Ano ba? Sound?
Say, yeah. What do you want to give to your wife this anniversary? It's silver.
Ikaw na nagawa yan.
Oh yes. The guy said,
Ito yun, may sound tayo.
"I'm giving her a treat. We're going to Paris tomorrow." Wow, sabi ng kaibigan, that's huge. Nobody can beat that. Going to Paris on the 20th anniversary or silver anniversary. He said, the guy said, "That's nothing because I'm already planning for our golden anniversary, the 50th. Wow! Sabi ng kaibigan niya, "You're really a planner. Imagine you're just celebrating your silver anniversary and then now you're planning for your golden anniversary. What are you planning for that day, for the golden?" The guy says, "I'm planning to go back to Paris to pick her up." Iniwan pala doon sa Paris. This is our important day, and as we come to this point in our lives, we are talking about our plans, our future plans, and everybody has a plan for us, not just during a person. Every day we have a plan for eat. Whatever you're going to eat, ano yung gagawin mo, ano yung susuot mo, araw-araw may plano ka sa buhay. Amen po ba? No? Ano yung, paano ka, ano oras ka gigising, the whole week, you're planning it out. And when you're starting a family and you want it to be kept small, of course you have to consider family planning. But when you talk about future plans, that's different. Everybody has a plan. Now many of us here are already talking about retirement plan because already this is 34th anniversary. Marami na pong nag-retire. But there's one guy, again, story, namig siya ng kaibigan niya, sabi ng asawa na namig niya yung friend niya, "I was angry. I'm angry because my husband celebrated his 25th anniversary or birthday." Sabi niya. And until now, it's already 1 month ago, hindi pa niya pinagamit yung kanyang regalo na bigay ko sa kanya. And the friend said, "Why? What's the gift?" "It's a memorial plan."
gagawin ko na kagad. So everybody has a plan. But on all these plans, the Bible is very clear. It says, many are the plans in man's heart, but it's the Lord's purpose that remains. Marami tayong plano sa buhay, pero ang kalooban ng Diyos ang nasusunod. Amen po ba? In fact, if you want to live a life that is pleasing, intentional, we need to align our plans to God's plan. Kailangan i-ayon natin yung plano ng buhay natin sa plano niya. Because many of our mess in life, marami sa pagkakamali natin ay dahil sarili nating plano. God was not there. That's why there's a saying, a wise man shapes into God's plan as water shapes into a vessel. Para doon tubig dapat na nilagay sa isang sisidlan, we have to shape ourselves into God's plan. So this afternoon, quickly I'll be sharing to you why do we need to align ourselves and our plans to God's plan. And I'll be sharing to you about the characteristics of God's plan. And I entitled God's plan this afternoon as the Master's Plan. The Master's Plan. Now our passage is very familiar. I think there's no need to just introduce this, but our passage is found in Jeremiah 29 verse 11. Can we read this all together loudly, please? Ready? Begin. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future. Praise the Lord. Very familiar passage, but many are mistaken about what does this mean. So let me just shortly pray before we start. Father, in the name of the Lord Jesus Christ, we come to you this afternoon thanking you for, again, another year that you're extending to our lives as a church. And we thank you that indeed, as you add another year to us, O God, this is a challenge for us to continually move on and grow and pursue the plans that you have for us as a church. We ask right now that as we listen to your word, it's the Holy Spirit who will speak to us. We submit to you this time, O God, as our teacher, counselor, be the one to speak to us in our hearts, to speak even to the hearts of everybody who's here who has a struggle right now in their commitment and relationship with you. I ask this in the name of Jesus. Amen. Amen. Praise the Lord. So yung ating pong talata, this passage, this portion of Scripture, is actually in the context when the Babylonian captivity happened in the life of the Israelites. Nung sila ay nasakop ng Babylonian. And who's this Babylonian Empire at the time? Today, they're actually the nation of Iraq. Okay? It happens that God allowed that Israel will be subdued by this nation, the Babylonian, in 587 BC. And I'll be sharing to you a little bit about this issue because this is crucial for us to be able to understand the passage that we just read. It's easy to claim the passage, I know the plans I have for you. Plans to prosper you, not to harm you, plans to give you hope in the future, without understanding really how does it apply. Does it really apply to me right now in my situation? Does it really fit for my occasion in my life? So in order to do that, we need to understand what's happening at that time. Why these words were given to that nation, and then only then that we can apply it to our lives right now. So, the Israelites were actually exiled because of their rebellion to God. They became idolaters, they have another God, gumawa sila ng ibang Diyos-Diyosan, and so God allowed them to be subjected to the Babylonian Empire. Okay? Just to show you the map. Right. Okay. May ilang po ito. Up there is actually a title, Israel and Judah into captivity. Now Israel was divided in this time because again of the sins of the people, they turned their backs from God, so God divided the nation. It's divided into two nations known as Israel and Judah. The Israel is actually more of a wicked portion of the people of God, the Jews. And the Judah part is actually, at least, they're good in terms of their relationship with the Lord. But they also came to a point where they turned their back from the Lord. So they became idolatrous at marami silang kasamang ginawa. So, the Israelites actually, the other portion was turning to captivity and captured by the Assyrian, yung nasa taas. So the Assyrians also tried to capture Judah. Sakupin sila, but because of God's intervention, it didn't happen. In fact, the king Hezekiah prayed, and 180,000 of the Assyrians died, and so they fled. But there was a time after the Syrian, the Babylon came, and they were now set into captivity. Sila na yung sumako. Why? Again, because of their wickedness, because of their sins. Pinayagan ng Panginoon dahil sa kanilang mga kasalanan. Ito po yung kalagayan nila nung panahon na yun. But interestingly, when Judah was exiled into Babylon, hindi madali yan mga kapatid. I don't know about you, but we came from Bataan. Bataan is known for the death march. The Israelites, or the Judah people, actually were brought into Babylon by walk. And you know how long they traveled? They traveled for 700 miles. Translating that into kilometers, it means 1,100, more than 1,100 kilometers, which I estimated actually 4 times of going back to Abu Dhabi or Dubai. They traveled that far just walking. Para madala sila ng taga-Babylon doon sa lugar nila. But some of the people were left behind. Pinili lang ng Babylon kung sino yung mga medyo learned. Yung mga matatalino, yung mga skillful, yun lang yung dinala nila. And the rest, iniwan nila sa Judah. Why? Because they have to work for the people that they're going to carry sa Babylon. So, the iwan dun sa Judah actually were farmers, ordinary people who will work the land so that they can have something to eat. And one of the prophets that was left behind is actually Jeremiah. I don't know why he was left behind, but he's really a prophet of God, and this is his word that was given to us. Now, the Jewish people started complaining because exile is not an easy life. Again, we may not understand that, but in reality, we are also exiles, working abroad. Okay? In that time, it's so hard because they were suddenly changed sa kanilang sitwasyon. Yung dating comfort zone nila sa bahay nila sa Judah, wala na. Kung dati pwede pa sila mag-video, ngayon hindi na. Wala na yung mga happenings. Iba yung panahon, then the different times, different climate, different kind of people surrounding them, iba yung mga kasama nila, iba yung kultura, they were adjusted. It was hard because it was an exile. That's why exile at that time was very terrifying and torturing for them. Hindi madaling na kapatid. That's why exile meaning essentially is that we are where we don't want to be. To be an exile is that you are placed in a place that you don't want to be. You are put in a situation that you don't want to be. You are actually exiled. So that's why, as I've said, as OFWs were actually considered to be in exile. We were forced to this, not by anyone else, but para sa ekonomiya. Dahil sa kahirapan, dahil sa pangangailangan. Ngayon ko ba? Diba? If you will be given a chance, you and I, many of us here will say, I prefer to be in the Philippines rather than here. Kung bibigyan lang tayo ng pagkakataon, maayos din lang buwan, we prefer to be in our land. But we were put in this place. That's why we are considered exiles in a sense. We are in a place that we don't like because we don't have a choice. We have to work for our families, to support our families. So, this is a difficult situation for the Jews. And now, God, because they were complaining already, it was terrifying to them, it was really terrible. Now they were complaining, but God revealed His master's plan to them. Then this plan will transition and will make a breakthrough in their lives. And we have to learn from them, particularly in this passage, what kind of plan that God revealed to them. Because God's plan, 3 things. First, it is a well-thought plan. It is a well-thought plan. Yung plano ng Diyos na pinapakita sa bayang ito, hindi basta-basta. It was an intelligent plan because the word says, I know the plans I have for you. God said, I know the plans. I know. Alam ko. God was very sure of this. He didn't say, I think I have a plan for you. I'm going think if what can I come up with a plan. Hindi sinabi ng Diyos yun. Sinabi niya kagad sa kanila, I am sure I know the plans I have for you. This is actually God telling them that God's plan is not just a product of wishful thinking. Hindi siya yung tsambang-tsambang plano lang. Hindi yung para ba mabilisan lang o planong suntok sa buwan. In fact, other translations of the Bible put it this way, for I know the thoughts and plans that I have for you, says the Lord. Thoughts and plans for welfare and peace and not for evil. I know the thoughts and plans. Ibig sabihin, this plan is something that God really think it over many, many times, and really, He was sure about this. It is important. Why? Because we know, plan is very important for you to succeed. An engineer will not construct a building without a building plan. I have a friend here who came, he happens to be my table tennis buddy, Mr. Sedan. Alright? He's an engineer. He works, and he works with a plan. Nobody construct a building without a plan. Why? What happens if you construct a building without a plan? Chances are, siguro yung nagtayo niyan, baka yung environmentalist, ayaw niya masira yung puno. Di ba? Engineer will construct a plan, a building, but there should be a plan. A businessman will not venture into business without a business plan. Hindi ka susuong sa negosyo nang wala kang plano. In fact, last year, September, I think, Forever 21 filed a bankruptcy. Okay? We still have one, I think, in Bawali mo. Meron pa ba? Wala na ba? Nagsara na rin? Alright? Last year, September 19, 2019, Forever 21 filed a bankruptcy. But I like the guy because he said, the owner says, if my company goes bankrupt, I will just start a new company. I have no shortage of names. Why? I'll name it Forever 22. Wala na kasi shortage sa pangalan. So you have to have a plan if you're going to start a business. Also, an athlete will not compete in a game without a game plan. Yung mga atleta, hindi sila naglalaro at lumalabas sa kompetisyon na walang plano. Ano po? Okay? I happen to find a guy who is into skydiving, and he gave a simple plan. Sabi niya ng plano niya, today's game plan, put a gear, skydive, if I made it back alive, yes, then eat, then sleep. But if not, then die happy. Yun ang plano niya. Ganun ang game plan niya. Ano po? But recently, for those basketball players, we appreciate because our favorite Kobe Bryant was given a eulogy by none other than Michael Jordan. Okay? Michael Jordan. Alright. I think I lost this. Now, Michael Jordan clearly showed that Kobe Bryant is a great player because even in the middle of the night, he's going to call Michael Jordan to ask just some tips and plan how his daughter can be a great basketball player. And yet he's already a great basketball player. That's why when Michael Jordan was testifying the eulogy is something na ginagawa ng Amerikano in praise of the dead person. Right? So, Michael Jordan was weeping because he said, when Kobe Bryant died, a piece of me died. Because they really are playing identically. Because this guy, Kobe Bryant, was actually idolized Michael Jordan. But Kobe Bryant has a greater work ethic. That's why he became famous, not only in the basketball court, but even in the family. He had planned for his daughter to become a great player. It so happened that they met an accident. So an athlete will not go into competition without a game plan. Why? In any pursuit of life, plan is indispensable for us to succeed, for a person to succeed. That's why a medical doctor said, if I have 4 minutes in which to perform an operation in which a life is dependent, I will take 1 minute of that to plan how to best to do it. Imagine, kung 4 na minuto na lang natitira sa kanya, kukunin niya pa rin, ilalaan niya 1 minuto so that he can think over kung anong plano at ano yung gagawin to save the life of a person. Why? Because planning is so important. Mga kapatid, tayo mga Filipinos are known to be successful in a sense. Because, and to succeed, wherever we are placed, kahit saan daw tayo mapunta. Why? Una, we are smart people. Okay? Pakitig namin yung katabi mo kung smart siya. We are skillful people. And we are great planners. Marunong daw tayo magplano sa buhay. And I'm asking, why? How come? How did we become great planners? Maybe simply because I found one reason is because we are encouraged by none other than Juan Tamad. Alam mo ba si Juan Tamad is a great planner? Yes. Tamad lang siya, pero magaling siya magplano. Diba? Ang plano niya, I think, I missed this, the second time. Ang plano niya, yes, pag kumain siya, aabangan niya na ng prutas. Kung saan nakatutok yung prutas, doon na lang siya. Para madali. There was even one time na nagplano siya. When his mother asked him, buy some alimango or crab in the market and bring it for our lunch. So what Tamad did? No. He bought some crabs in the market and then, since because he's already sleepy, he said, sabi niya doon sa mga alimango, di ba? Mauna na kayo sa bahay. Matutulog muna ako. Maganda yung plano niya. No. We don't want to be like Juan Tamad. That's the reason why we are planning our future, and Filipinos are known to be smart and skillful. That's why many times we try, we succeed. And sabi mo nga rito, are you an RFW with a plan? Or, if not, are you an RFW okay, fine, whatever? Ano sa dalawa? Do you have a plan? O ikaw yung okay, fine, whatever? Right? Now, for people who don't have a plan, anong paborito nila salita? Swerte. Swerte ko ngayon. Di ba? Luck is the favorite word of people who don't have a plan. At mind nyo mga kapatid, failing to plan is planning to fail. Failing to plan is planning to fail. But we thank the Lord because God's plan for us, likely for the nation of Israel, was sure and well thought. Hindi siya yung basta-basta lang. Kundi sigurado ang Panginoon sa plano niya, He was actually saying to this nation, trust me, I know the plans I have for you. That's why God's plan is a well-thought plan. Secondly, God's plan is actually a well-timed plan. Well-timed plan. Many of our plans fail because it lacks time. Wala tayong panahon. Gusto kong magtagumpay. Kailan? Gusto kong yumaman. Kailan? Wala tayong time frame. Di ba? Gusto ko nang mag-lose ng weight. Kailan? Pagkalala ko ng virus. Kailan? Diba? Hindi lang dahil sa wala tayong sistema, kundi wala tayong panahon. Katulad nitong tao na. Wala na mag-exercise. Alright? Hindi wala kung saan naabutin yan. Okay? You see, God's timetable to restore Israel into their land. Napalayas na sila yung Israel. It was clear, alisin na natin kasi medyo na-distract kayo. Hindi ko alam kung ice cream o alright. God's timetable for the nation of Israel to be free was very definite. Sabi ng Lord in verse 10, this is what the Lord says, when 70 years are completed for Babylon, I will come to you and fulfill my gracious promise to bring you back to this place. How many years will they be freed? 70. You know when we study this, sa isang Bible study, sabi niyo sa akin, Pastor, 70. Can you imagine, makakakantay ka ba ng 70? 70, buhay ka pa ba doon? You see, ganun din ang feeling ng mga Israelita. 70 years. Because at that time, mga kapatid, this is the real issue. God said 70 years. But in their midst, there are other prophets, false prophets, who are telling them, makakalaya kayo. Para bang sa atin yan? Meron sasabi, makakauwi na kayo ng Pilipinas after 2 years. Maganda na ang buhay. After 2 years. But, anong feeling natin? Wow. At last, I can go back to my country, enjoy it, and even have the privilege of earning a lot and living the life that I wanted to. Because it's just 2 years. Yun yung pangako sa kanila ng mga propeta na iba, na hindi galing sa Lord. Kasi yun yung sabi, this is what the Lord Almighty God of Israel says, do not let the prophets and diviners among you deceive you. Meron ang dadaya sa kanila. Do not listen to the dreams you encourage them to have. Why? Because those false prophets were telling them, no, you'll just stay here 2 years, not 70 years. But God is saying to them, 70 years. Why? In fact, hirap na hirap silang tanggapin mga kapatid, ang laki ng difference ng 70 sa 2 years. While they were struggling about that, then suddenly, a word from Jeremiah came, given by the Lord. Anong sabi ng Lord through Jeremiah? Okay. This is what the Lord Almighty, the God of Israel says, to all those I carried into exile from Jerusalem to Babylon, build houses and settle down, plant gardens and eat what they produce. Sinasabi ng ibang false prophet, 2 years you will be free. But God said, no, 70 years you will stay. Kaya 70 years, you have to build houses. Mga kapatid, gaano katagal magtayo ng bahay? It will take time. Settle down, plant gardens, and eat what they produce. Hindi lamang yan. Sabi, eto na, good news. Marry and have sons and daughters. Mag-asawa kayo. Can you imagine? Sinasabihan sila ng Lord, mag-asawa kayo dyan. Find wives for your sons and give your daughters in marriage so that they too may have sons and daughters. Increase in number. There, do not decrease. That's why God was serious that this exile is for a long stay. Hindi sila makakabalik kagad. Sapagkat magtatayo sila ng bahay, mag-aasawa pa sila, yung anak nila mag-aasawa uli. They have to settle down, sabi ng Lord sa kanila. Yun ang utos sa kanila ng Panginoon. Instead of hoping for immediate deliverance from Babylon, they were exalted to live a normal life. Settle down. Mabuhay kayo kung paano mabubuhay yung mga nandiyan. If you're in this situation, mga kapatid, how would you accept? If you were praying for something, Lord, kailan po ako magkakasawa?
Ito na naman po tayo.
2 years po ba o 1 year? Narinig mo, 7 years.
Bakit na?
Saan mo na si Ate?
Ano na sana?
Nasa labas
Tapos
pa.
na siguro coronavirus mo.
Tinanggap niya
If you were praying for something that is hard and difficult, may sakit, Lord, alisin mo po ito, pagalingin mo. But the Lord is telling you, my son, this will take for a while. What would you feel? Ano mararamdaman mo? Same thing na mararamdaman ng mga Israelita. They were being told, it will take some time, that's why settle down. Because God's timing, God was teaching them, His timing is different from theirs. And He has a purpose that later on we're going to understand. Why? Because all their lives they want to do their own thing according to their timing. They do not want God's process of timing. Why? Because naturally, tayo, we do not want to wait. We don't like to wait. Ayaw natin ng traffic, ayaw natin pipila, ayaw natin na mapagkain na magtatagal tayo. We want everything instant. Galit tayo kapag ang hina naman ng signal ng Wi-Fi. Inaaway natin lahat kapag hindi tayo makakunik. We want a fast connection. But you see, waiting is an important part of our lives. Kailangan matuto tayo maghintay sapagkat malaking bahagi ng buhay natin, mga kapatid. Let me tell you why. There's a guy who went to the hospital limping. Hika-hika siya. Pasok siya sa hospital, and so the nurse immediately attended to him. He was put sat down sa isang upuan. Habang nandun siya, in-x-ray siya, tapos binalik siya sa upuan. And then suddenly the nurse, habang naglalakad, marami kasing pasyente, may nagot sa kanya ng tablet. Tinawagan sa kanya. But suddenly, nung ginamot yung tablet, there was an emergency. A child was being brought into the emergency room. So the nurse immediately attended to the child. So naiwan yung lalaki. So yung lalaki, while sitting there, hawak yung tablet, and malapit lang yung dispenser, kumuha siya ng tubig, inumin yung tablet, at pagkatapos, pati yung gamot. He drank the medicine. And then the nurse came back after attending to the emergency situation. The nurse was carrying a pail, a basic. Timba. Ang sabi ng nurse, now, put the tablet so that we can soak your feet. Paglinis pala ng papo yung tablet, mga kapatid. Why? Hindi kasi siya nakapag-antay. He took the time. Now, let me tell you this. That's why timing is so important. You will find even in the Bible, there are people, God's people, who suffered for failing to wait. Who are they? Abraham and Sarah. Because of their presumption, they said that God has a promise that I'm going to be the father of many nations. Sarah gave Hagar to Abraham, and they bore Ismail. Hindi sila nakapagantay. Also, Jacob and Rebecca, they deceived Isaac just to get the blessing untimely. Samantalang yung blessing para naman talaga kay Jacob. Hindi sila nakapag-antay. So, they deceived their father. Ano nangyari? The family become messy. Nag-away yung magkapatid. Ang tagal din nagkita. Hindi na nga nakita ni Jacob si Rebecca ulit ng buhay. Sapagkat lumaya siya, then papatayin siya ng kapatid niya. Simply because this guy failed to wait. Not only that, si Saul, King Saul, lost his kingship, his crown, because he did not wait for Samuel to come who will offer the sacrifice. Siya gumawa, eh hindi na trabaho. Kaya sabi ng Lord, from now on, the crown will be taken away from you. Simply, these people failed to wait, pero ang laki ng kabayaran hindi nila pag-antay. Mga kapatid, God was teaching the Israelites to wait, and He is teaching us also to wait. We have to learn the process of waiting. It is important because, sabi nga, there is no need to rush. If something is meant to be, it will happen at the right time, in the right way, for the right reason. Amen po ba? Pakisabi sa katabi mo, huwag ka magmadali ka. Huwag ka magmadali. Kung talagang nangyayari yan, it will happen. Di ba? In fact, Ecclesiastes chapter 3 verse 1 says, everything that happens in this world happens at the time God chooses. Lahat ng nangyayari sa panahon ito, sa ibabaw ng mundo, ay nangyayari sa panahon gusto ng Diyos. Imagine, it is God's timing. That's why, again, I'd like to tell you, don't trust God. Trust God. Huwag mo madali ng Diyos. Magtiwala ka lang sa Kanya. He has His own timing. Because life only gets better when we learn to wait from God. Why? Because God's timing is perfect. He is never early, never late. It takes a little patience, and it takes a little lot of faith, but it's worth the wait. These past weeks, this past month, I've been counseling couples. Struggling couples, and some of them were even saying, kundi lang sana tayo nagmadali. And I do not want to go into that part. Magsisisi because of the decision that we made in the past. But why? They recognize sometimes because we rush our situation. Pag nagmadali ka, di ba? May kasabayan nga tayo, wala po dito. Ang taong lumalakad ng matulin, na, nadapa,
Sakit.
malalim. Tama ba yun? Ang taong lumalakad ng matulin, pag nadapa, malalim. Totoo yun. Walang pinagkait yan. Pag mabilis nila takbo ng sasakyan, mas malaki ang sira, ang pagdurog. That's why we need to learn to wait. Lastly, God's timing, God's plan is a well-targeted plan. It's a well-trusted plan. It has a purpose. It has an intention. Ano ang plano ng Lord for God allowing Israel to go to the exile? Ano ang plano ng Diyos? Bakit kinakailangan silang dumaan sa exile? Hindi lang yun, mga kapatid. Bakit 70 years? Why was God delaying the exile? Hindi katulad ng 2 years na sinasabi. Anong plano ng Lord? Why did He ask them to settle down? Why? Very clearly sabi niya sa verse 11, di ba? I have plans to what? Prosper you, not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future. Therefore, may plano ng Lord sa dinadaanan nilang hirap kahit matagal sapagkat pagpapalangin sila. Many times, ladies and gentlemen, God's plan, how difficult it may be, may purpose ang Lord. Because He works behind those situations, first and foremost, to break us. Para baliin tayo. Why? The Israelites, the reason why they were sent into exile, sapagkat na tumalikod sila sa Diyos, namumuhay sila sa kasalanan. And so God has to bring them into exile so that they may realize that they're living in sin. And they have to be broken. Unless they learn that, they will not be able to go back. God was breaking them. Hindi lamang yan, mga kapatid. Israelites are very murmuring and complaining people. Mahilig sila magkunting hirap lang, angal yan. That's the reason why Moses was not able to enter the promised land. At yung mga kasabi ng Israelita, nagutom lang ng konti, angal sila sa Diyos. Nauulan ng konti, angal sila sa Diyos. So God has to teach them, to break them, to learn, to wait upon the Lord. Now at this moment, they were brought into exile. It's their choice. Anong choice nila? It's either they continue complaining or they comply with what God was asking them to do. Ano pinagagawa sa kanila ng Lord? Settle down. Build houses. Marry. Para bang sinasabi sa mga OFWs, sige, mag-ayos ka ng buhay mo, mag-establish ka ng buhay mo dyan. Maghanap ka ng mga kapag-asawa, katabi mo lang yan. Tuminting ka lang. Pinapa-settle down. It's either there will be people complaining or they will comply. Why? God was breaking them. Their response will matter most. Sometimes, hindi ka nakakauga sa sitwasyon kapag hindi tama ang tugon mo. You know why? Because sometimes God doesn't change the situation because He's trying to change our heart. Inaayos ng Lord yung puso natin. Inaayos ng Lord ang puso natin. Pag hindi naayos ang puso natin, you will stay in the place that you do not want. You will be kept in a place that is considered to be exile. Kaya lagi po sinasabi ng mga kapatid, if you're going through some difficult things, ask the Lord, anong kalooban mo, Lord? Do not complain. Because if you fail to properly respond, you will stay in that difficult situation. Pag hindi umayos ang puso. God was breaking this life. Secondly, God was also, that's the reason why, sabi ng Panginoon sa kanila, you will call upon me and come and pray to me and I will listen to you. Kasi gusto ng Lord, mawala na yung tiwala nila sa sarili nila, kundi sa Kanya na lang tumawag. Tandaan natin, tumalikod sila sa Lord. May iba na silang Diyos. So, nilagay sila ng Panginoon sa ganung sitwasyon para bumalik sila sa Lord so that they will call again upon the Lord. And the promise of the Lord is that you will call upon me and come and pray to me and I will listen to you. I will listen to you. Because this thing is something that they weren't doing anymore. They were calling to another God. Kaya mga kapatid, kailan ba tayo tumatawag ng seryoso sa Diyos? Di ba? Kapag may problema tayong malaki, Di ba? Pag may sakit tayo. Pero pag okay ka, hindi mo kailangan ng Diyos. Hindi mo siya inintindi. Hindi ka pumupunta sa church, hindi ka nagpe-pray. Pag okay lahat. But once you struggle, tinamaan ka lang ng konti na kasikul ka. May corona kaya ako. Magpe-pray ka na ngayon. Dati hindi ka naman nagpe-pray. Salamat sa corona, nagpe-pray ka na ngayon. It was at the time that we're placed in that situation that we start to calling upon the Lord. Amen to ba? Kung hindi mo na madalas na siniseryoso ng Lord. There is there, we'd like you to call upon Him. Secondly, the reason why God brought them into exile is for them to be brought back. He would like them to be bring back sa Kanya. Okay. Sabi ng promise ng Lord sa kanila, verse 14, I will gather you from all the nations and places where I have banished you, declares the Lord, and I will bring you back to the place from which I carried you into exile. Mga kapatid, kahit napatapon sila, napalaya sila, ang promise ng Lord, I will gather you again from all the nations. So this promise is not just for them, but for everyone who's scattered abroad. At marami sa kanila nakascatter pa sa abroad. Ang sabi ng Lord, ibabalik ko kayo in the places na kung saan pinakalat ko kayo. I will bring you back to the place from which I carried you into exile. Anong ibig sabihin niya? You see, again, bilang nasa exile, ang gusto nila, bumalik sa lugar nila. Their desire is to go back to their hometown, to Jerusalem. But God wants them first to go back to Himself. Malaking pagkakaiba. Gusto nilang bumalik sa lugar nila, pero ang Diyos gusto nilang bumalik sila sa Kanya. Kasi yun ang problema eh. Nasa Jerusalem sila before, pero hindi nila pinapansin ng Diyos. So, they have to be exiled so that they will see and look at God again and return to God. Return to God. They now discovering, sabi ng Panginoon sa kanila, this is the promise, you will seek me and find me when you seek me with all your heart. Hahanapin niyo ako at masusumpungan niyo ako kung hanapin niyo ako ng buong puso o taos sa puso. Bakit sinabi ng Lord yan? This is very important because they thought that God is just confined in the temple in Jerusalem. That's why God destroyed the temple. Mga kapatid, at that time, they had no temple to go back to. Wala silang temple. But they were still thinking of going back to Jerusalem because they thought God is there. Ano kung sa lang, saan sila mag-pray? Saan sila harap? Sa Jerusalem. Sa Jerusalem. Eh wala ng templo. Anong tinuturo ng Lord sa kanila? Tinuturo ng Lord sa kanila, the presence of God is not just in Jerusalem. The presence of God can be here in the place where you are exiled. In the foreign land. Di ba, iba sa atin, iniisip din yan dati. Ano pa niya? Will I succeed if I go to UAE? Will I succeed if I go to Canada, United States, just like I'm succeeding or I have my work in the Philippines? Yes, you are. Because the God that you have in the Philippines is the same God that you will have here wherever you are. Because God is not limited by place. Ang mahalaga, yung presensya niya, hindi yung lugar. Amen po ba? Silang isip nila, we want to go back to Jerusalem while God would like them to go back to Him. Mas mahalaga sa Diyos yung presensya niya. Hindi nila nakikita na lumayo sila sa presensya ng Lord, lugar ang hinahanap nila. Pero gusto ng Lord, seek me. You will find me if you seek me with all your heart. This is the last point. Israel wanted to return to their land, but God wanted them to return to Him. They want to experience deliverance, mapalaya doon sa pagkakalipin, but God wanted them to experience the deliverance. They were seeking the blessings from God, but God would like them to seek the blessings. They were looking for provisions, while God would like them to look at the provider. Di ba mga kapatid? Maraming tao sa panahon natin, ganun din naman yun. Ang hinahanap, blessing, provisions, healing. Pero yun ang bibigay, hindi yun ang hinahanap. Ang gusto ng Lord, siya. Because if you have Him, all the rest will follow. Amen po ba? He wants you to sing, Christ is enough for me. Because if you seek His kingdom and His righteousness, all these things will be added unto you. Mali yung tingin nila. They were hoping for the temple, they were hoping for the land, but God would like them to see His person and experience His presence. That's the reason why. Sometimes, kung bakit tayo pinadadaan ng Panginoon sa mga problema, gusto niya bumalik tayo sa Kanya. Gusto niya bumalik tayo sa Kanya. Hindi doon sa mga bagay na pinagtitiwala natin. Wala sa lugar yan mga kapatid. Wherever you are, if God is with you, God will prosper you. God will bless you. Amen po ba? Look at the last point. Anong ginawa sa kanila ng Lord? Why they were going through some difficulties? Because God would like them to be blessed. Nung nasa exile sila mga kapatid, that nation, Babylon, nandun sila. Yung mga taong ginamit ng Lord doon, si Daniel, yung kanyang mga kaibigan, naging great leader ng nation na yun. Ang daming naging matagumpay sa kanila. And you know what? Have you, as one time, in the Bible, there is some group of people known as the wise men during Christmas. Diba? The Magi. Saan sila galing? Alam niyo kung saan sila galing? They saw the star in the east. They were in Babylon. And chances are, the Bible scholar says, these Magi were actually scholars, leaders in their nation that was influenced by the prophet Daniel and the rest of the friends. Kaya sila pinatapon doon sa Babylon dahil sa ganun ma-influensya nila yung lugar na saan nila sa kanilang lugar. That's why God would like them to settle down, build houses, marry, enjoy, prosper in the land, so that later on, nakita ninyo, pagbalik nyo doon, nakikita nyo yung pagpapala ng Lord. And God will also use that to fulfill His will at yung plano niya. So it happened. Today, you know what happened? Some of the Jewish people are thriving. Marami po yan. Sa Cuba, pinaalis na sila. Bakit pinaalis yung mga Jews? Because they were the one owning the businesses. They triumphed, nag-succeed sila. So sabi ng mga Cubans, hindi na kayo, wala na kayo lugar dito. Because they were succeed, they were doing what God is asking them to do. Plant, build your houses, marry, prosper, increase, do not decrease. Because the time will come, pag nangyari yan, I will bring you back to the promised land. To you. Ladies and gentlemen, the same way, God is telling us to this afternoon. Settle down. Wherever God has placed you, it is God's plan to prosper you, not to harm you. It is God's plan to give you hope and a future wherever you are. May plano ng Lord kung ba't ka nila sa lugar nila. Even as an exile. Para sa kapatid mo, may plano ng Lord sa iyo kapatid.
Plano ang Lord sa iyo.
Just know the Master's plan. It is well thought. Remember? The second thing, it is well thought, it is well timed, it is well targeted. May the Lord prosper you while sparing you in doing it, particularly because that is God's plan for you. God bless you.
Try mo i-run yung
Ate, patambal yan. Ito lang din.
Sige, sige.